Alright, what's good, everybody? Oh shit. Let's rip this open. So there's I'm in trouble. No. Yeah. So there is enough cards right here to make 2 decks with some extra deck cards. Which, whoa, are these the same size? They are. They are the same size. Same size sleeves. Which that one's all dirty. Yeah, there's a first look at one of them. This is actually just a spell card. So these are going to be the sample cards. They are not the final edition of the cards. But dang, I mean, they look nice. They do feel like I might need to work on getting the card a little bit thicker, which that was the thing I was considering. I thought that it might need to be a little bit thicker, but I kind of just wanted to go through the process to be able to get the cards to have a good image, because I was just doodling on top of Aura. So this is actually a really cool card. It's called Primal Instinct, and what it does is play a Primal Upgrade Guardian from your extra deck, then side, whoops, it's supposed to say send, send it to the trash at the end of the turn. So, yeah. They're right there already. There's a little, but that's why they're just test cards. Already miswritten. But so there's that one, which that works for the extra deck. Let's go leave those last because I don't want to go over those quite yet. So right here is a card called Trash and Draw. Some of the first cards are going to be the draw support cards. This one, target player discards X number of cards from hand and draws that many cards. So a lot of the cards are going to say target in this game, just because there are cards where you can switch the target. So you can steal your opponent's card effects, basically, using it at like instant speed, like kind of hand trap style. More, that's a better example of it. So trash and draw, you basically discard as many cards as you want from your hand, and then you get to draw that many cards. So that's one for each deck. Plus one, which is going to be pretty much pot of greed here. You just get to draw 2 cards. That's it, and that's the generic term for card players, where it's plus 1. So each, and you can see right here. So it says spell. So I might need to do that a little bit better too. That's why I wanted to just see how it looked. But right there in that top corner, you can see that it's a spell. So this is a spell card. If it was a monster or a Dimensional Guardian, it would say what level it was. And then it says how many you can have in the deck, which there's 2. You're allowed to have 2 in each deck. So there's 2 for each deck, just like the trash and draw, you can only have 1. This is going to be level up, which you search your deck for the next level of the target guardian and place it on top of the target. Then your turn ends. So you are able to straight search from your deck to be able to go into the next level, but it will also end your turn. And you can play 2 of those. So there's 2 for each deck. Then there's also Level Down, which this is going to be more of a defensive play, more for downgrading your opponent's guy to make it easier for them to attack. I'll be going over that a little bit more once we get to the beasties. So this one's Sharky Guardian loses cards off the top of its level stack, which you stack up the cards based on the level. It's kind of like Digimon or even Pokemon does the same thing until it goes to a lower level. So in this game, also when you go, you can ride a 2 on top of the same 2, and then it'll get 1,000 power to be able to help you attack when you're stuck. This is going to be Cleanup here, which is just like a slower version of MST. Target dimensional vortex spell or trap on board or random card in hand and send it to the trash, which the trash is just going to be the graveyard. Each player can get 2 of those. There's 2 more. Here's another draw card here, and it's Redo. Each player gets 1 of these. Target player places X number of cards from hand to the bottom of the deck and draws that many cards. So another draw support card, which I'm going to kind of just put 1 stack to the side and then kind of mainly present 1, I guess, so you can keep it laid out here. But these are all cards for a whole deck here. Those level ups, cleanups. So 1 redo for each deck, and then there is a redraw. So this is target player shuffles their hand into their deck and draws 5 cards. So it's just kind of like a reload, but you don't have to have any cards in your hand. So if you have no cards, then you just draw 5. So that's pretty good. So there's already 5 draw cards in the game that really helps you just go throughout your deck and helps with like consistency and making it so that you don't like break in the game and making just it an undesirable game to play, basically, in my opinion, which some games can do that to you because you're just sitting around waiting to draw stuff. Switch is pretty cool. Activate when you want to switch an opponent's attack or chosen target to an appropriate target of your choosing. Guardians can't attack themselves. So say they attack, there's these things called, like, so there's axes, there's swords, and then there's shields, right? So, and these all go in the back row, which there's 3 spots, just like in Yu-Gi-Oh! Where you have 3 spots in or 5 spots in the back row, right? But you only have 3. That's where you can play like shields, which shields target guardian gains 500 LP, and these are equipment spells. It says it right there at the top if it would focus. So yeah, like again, it says how many you can play, limit 3, equipment spell right there in the corner. And basically, if they're going to attack you and it's going to deal you damage, you can play a switch and you can make them attack one of their shields. Or, for example, if they're going to +1 and you really need to draw, target player draws 2, you switch the target to yourself, you get to draw 2. And these are speed traps, so these are basically hand trap cards. And you play them straight from your hand, you don't have to set them. These are the backs of the cards. So you don't have to set them, you just straight play them from your hand, and then you're able to choose a new target. So each player gets 2 of those. Next is negate. Target card does not resolve. Dimensional vortexes manually leveling up and attacking can't be targeted with negate. So what those are, so this is basically just a negate, like a kind of sort of like a solemn or something like that. I can't think of something like maybe like a void spell. I can't think of anything really, but it's pretty much just a card that you play from your hand, and whatever they're trying to do at the time, you just say like no. That's pretty much it. But you can't stop them from playing, which are these dimensional vortexes right here. And there's one for each, going to be one for each element, and then there will eventually be like other ones too that will be higher value. So the generic one at first is all water guardians gain 200 LP and 200 attack. So it's really good because it'll help you get out of distance pretty much to be able to make it so it's harder for you to get hit, but it'll also help you attack them, and you're basically making a vortex, creating a new dimension. So that's why they're called that. But these things you can't negate them playing. To get rid of these, you'd have to play your own dimensional vortex, or you can use cleanup to target and destroy it. Which cleanup is this card? That's pretty much like the MST. But it also can hit cards in your opponent's hand at random. So there's a limit of 3 on those. This is the wind one. This one just says all wind guardians gain 200 LP and 200 attack. So there's that. Yeah, like I was saying, the shields, 3 shields. The axe, you can have 3 axes, but the axes are actually just filler cards for the starter decks. These are what the starter decks are going to actually look like too, by the way. And then you can play 3 swords, but the starter deck only comes with 2. So it only comes with 2 swords, but you can play 3. It only comes with 1 axe, but you can play 3. But this card is going to be taken out for the Primal Instincts, just for the videos, but those cards, there's a few cards in here that you won't be able to just get into the starter decks. And I'll point those out when we get to there. But they're just there to be able to kind of like show off some of the gameplay and stuff like that. So now we got some of our beasties finally, which this is our starter. You start off with a grade 0, and you have one guy, he sits in the middle with your 3 cards in the back row, and then you have 6 cards off to the side, or you can basically put them wherever you want. You can do like dual master style and put them in front of you, and that's called your life barrier. Once all 6 are gone and then you get hit, the game is over and you lose. So that's how you win, and that's how you lose. So right here is Sharky Boy. It says his LP right here, which is 200, and his attack shark fin is 100. So all these numbers are going to be the same based on the card, but as more cards come out, you'll be able to mix and match what you actually want to put in the deck. So how you deal a damage is if your attack that you're attacking your opponent's Dimensional Guardian is equal or greater than their LP, the excess damage will go through to be able to destroy one of their life barriers. So that's how you deal damage. So this is our level 0 that we start off automatically, and you can put this in a different sleeve if you'd like. It's not going to be a part of the actual deck. It's outside of the deck on its own, just like some of the side deck cards. Here is the level 1 Sharky Boy, and then right here it will tell you what it evolves from. So Sharky, which that's this thing, its LP is over here still. It's going to be 500 if that can focus. Kind of doesn't want to focus, but my hand's not like super still. Anyway, so this is going to be the level 1. He's got Shark Fin, so you don't lose the ability to attack when you evolve into him. He takes 1 colorless energy, which any card in the deck is considered energy. And if it's not, so these spells, that's one of the things I've noticed I wanted to add. There'll probably be eventually like a little spot right here that will say like that it's a water card or a wind card, something like that. And I think there's actually examples for that. Yeah, see. Here's 2, which these are some of the extra deck monsters, but see how it says water here. So I was really just trying to test out some of the card layout, get some cards in my hand to be able to see how the texture is, which is pretty nice, but I do think I want it a little bit thicker. They're a little bit flimsy compared to what I kind of wanted, but I also thought that might have been the case. So yeah, so any card can be considered as energy, and it'll basically be the color right here, which this will be water, and then as you can see right here where it says wet fin, it costs 1 water and 1 colorless, and then that does 300 damage. So you can attach like, and you attach it like energy, it's not like a mana system, so you can attach a Sharky Boy to your Sharky Boy, and now it can use the attack Shark Fin. If you have 2 cards underneath, now it can use Wet Jet, where you can also do its card ability for being a level 1 called Search and Dive. Search the deck for the next level, place it on top of your Guardian, shuffle your deck, then your turn ends. So how battle goes in this game is it'll go like standby phase, draw phase, main phase, battle phase, and then your turn ends after battle phase unless the card states otherwise. So there is no main phase 2 in this game if you're familiar with something like Yu-Gi-Oh! So yeah, there's that. Really excited to get some gameplay here soon. That'd be super dope. So yeah, and then all the Dimensional Guardians, there's no limit size. See how these ones say limit 3. For these, it just says the evolution required to be able to put this card on top of. You can play a max of 4 of any Dimensional Guardian, any monster, if you want to say that you want. Next is 4 Shark Bites right here. So he evolves right there. Sharky Boy, 1000 LP. He's a level 2. And then he has Wet Jet. But Wet Jet, it'll cost 2 colorless. Focus, yeah, 2 colorless. It does 500, so still does some damage. It'll be 2 water, 1 colorless to be able to do the search and dive though at that point. And then that'll make it so that you can go into your level 3. So that's going to be Shark Bite. And they're all just pretty generic right now. And eventually they'll get more abilities, like being able to, every time you attack, you'll draw and stuff like that. For water, for instance, you'll just kind of have a little bit more draw power with water and recycling your deck. So then this one right here is Axe Hammer Shark. He's level 3, evolves from Shark Bite. He's got 15 LP, and he's got Wet Axe, which costs 3 water energy, which again can be any of your water beasties or water Dimensional Guardians, water monsters, water creatures, whatever you want to call them. And then it also has Axe Hammer Smash, just as 500. It'll cost 2 colorless and 1 water. So you still have like a move, even if you needed to early game, you know, attach some stuff to be able to go into the next level with Sharky Boy, which I think is, I can go over some more gameplay stuff in a second, after I go over the cards, because there's like cool little combo things that you can kind of do to move up and level up really fast, because it's meant to be a fast-paced game. And I do, once there's stuff, I honestly am going to have like Tabletop Simulator or Discord tournaments, and those will be for money. I like money. Yeah, so they'll be for money and also product. Right here is the level 4 Gatling Shark. Evolves from Hammerhead Axe Shark with 2000 LP, 4 water energy, and it can do Aqua Bullet Spray, which does 2000 here. So there's that, and then that's the whole line for that. We'll go into the extra deck. I'll just put aside these the win cards real quick, and I'll just go over the other stuff. So Axe is alright. Like I was saying, that we're gonna take it out. I might as well tell you what we're taking it out for, because that one just does 200, and Sword, which I didn't really go over, gives it 500 attack boost. And another cool thing here is that these artifact things or equipments like have LP. So say they have too much shields up and you can't hit their guy, you can actually use your turn to attack one of their shields instead, to be able to help make it possible to hit them the following turn. And the reason why, I'm sure everyone will take out, I'll go over this thing first, which it actually is wrong here. There's actually a typo. So this is Primal Instinct. Each player gets to play one of these. It's a spell. This is actually artwork of the Ice Beastie. So he's going to be a Ice Sabertooth dude. This is some artwork of him. He'll be later on though. And play a Primal upgrade card. Upgrade Guardian from your extra deck, then send, it's supposed to say send, it says side, send it to the trash at the end of your turn, right? So you play this. It's similar to like an instant fusion, if you know what instant fusion does. So you play this card and it'll be just like an instant fusion. It's a 1-of, it's super good. And for the water deck, what you'll be able to pick here is this Megalodoom here. So these are technically like, they're like fossil, like primal monsters. That's why it's kind of dark. I might need to work on that. But you can see here it has a question mark because you don't know what level it is. Because basically it's like before 0 in a way. It's like before the beginning of it, I guess. Because it's more of a fossil being resurrected back to its primal state, and then it's got 0 LP because it just dies as soon as it's done doing what it's doing, and it's fragile in that sense. But what these Primal Guardians do here is, see, it has the Primal Crush, and it does 15, which doesn't seem like a whole lot. You can do this on top of anything. So if you have your 0 out, you can actually put this on top of it. That's how the extra deck will work. It's kind of a to catch you back up kind of deal for the extra deck if you're kind of being a little snowballed by your opponent. But these things will go. This one will go away, like the card said, because it only can be brought out by Primal Instincts. So Primal Crush, what it does is this attack increases by 500 after each attack and attacks until it has destroyed one of your opponent's life barrier cards, which is going to be like your shield zone or your security if you're familiar with Duel Masters or Digimon. So basically what this thing is it's like a board wipe where you can destroy your opponent's like shields and swords on the board, stuff like that. It can also help ensure that you can get that last damage in if they're gonna do something like switch or something like that. But the Primal Instinct can be negated, so you can negate Primal Instinct to prevent this from happening, right? So you want to make sure, but you can negate their negate. So it's meant to be like a very fast card slinging, kind of like Uno, where you're just throwing down cards really fast into the stack, and then at the end of everything you just go backwards, just from Yu-Gi-Oh, like Yu-Gi-Oh, so it'll resolve backwards. But this thing just helps you do the final blow, or if you need to make sure that you hit damage on that turn, just to be able to keep the game state not out of your reach and stuff. This is something that you might want to go into as a tool. So yeah, this is one of the upgraded cards here. I don't really have room for it here. I guess I can just put it right there. Next, which you can play 4 of these, but currently there's only one way to get it out. Eventually there'll be other ways to like cheat it out, but it's gonna basically cost you more than just getting it for free like you do with that card and it just going away. So here are 2 cards that are also upgrade Guardian cards, which is Sharktooth and Steel Shark. How you make each one. This one will be 2 swords. So when you have 2 sword equipped cards on your field, you can destroy both of them, and then you can put this card and upgrade it from your extra deck on top of your Guardian. So it just kind of helps you go into a level 3, because these ones are level 3, and they will stay there until you level up on top of them, or you get your level down by your opponent. So it still isn't going to be able to pay off right away, because as you can see, it takes 4 water energy just to be able to attack with the double slash, which does a good amount of damage. Right now it's the highest attacking dimensional guardian in the game, which is 22k or 2200, sorry. Flip a coin. If heads, you may attack again before your turn ends. So it does have the opportunity to double attack, but it's also on a coin flip. But at the same time, this guy's LP is really low, so something like a level 3 with a 1 sword will be able to hit it back. So that's the double sword one, and that'll take 2 sword equips on your board. You destroy it, and then you get to play it. So they're not the easiest to get out, but they do give you some benefit if you do get them out. And it also will help you be able to go from, like, say you can't go into your 1 or your 2 or something like that, and you're stuck on 0 for some reason, right? You're stuck on 0. You'll be able to at least go 0 to 3 if you can be able to go into a combination of cards making it so that you can protect one of your swords to be able to play the following sword your next turn, and as the game progresses you'll be able to use cards that will be able to play a sword from your hand for free, because the once per turn things that you have is you can manually level up once per turn. You can attach a card from your hand onto your Dimensional Guardian as energy once per turn, and then you can play one equip card once per turn. That's all that you're allowed to do once per turn, besides attacking, which, as we showed right here, these two cards are able to attack more than once per turn based on their card text. Right here is the Steel Shark. He's got basically the opposite stats, if you notice that. This has 13 LP, 2200 attack. This one has 22 LP, 1300 attack. And this one costs 2 shields, which is going to be a little bit easier to do with the starter decks, because the starter deck gives you 3 shields. But also, the thing that eventually is going to happen with the booster pack is there's going to be swords and shields that are actually going to have the elemental type. So you will be able to play, your swords, but then you'll also have like a water sword that will be declared as water, so you can attach it as water energy also at the same time. And then eventually at a certain point, once all 9 elements have their starter decks, there's going to be a set that pretty much allows each element to combine with a different element, kind of protecting itself from its weakness, because it is going to be similar to like Pokemon, where water is weak to electric, it's weak to excuse me it's weak to grass. Oh, my voice is kind of going out. Where it's weak to grass. I need to get water. Hold on. So, yeah. If you're familiar to how Pokemon kind of works, that'll work out a little bit better in your favor. Lightning is strong against water, water is strong against fire, grass is strong against water, grass is weak against fire. That kind of whole deal, it will apply in this, which it only does a 200 attack increase. It's not like double the damage. Oh shit, I didn't know. Negate the negate. Yeah, you can negate the negate. Yu-Gi-Oh and Digimon combined. Yeah, it's like Yu-Gi-Oh, Digimon, Vanguard, Pokemon, Duel Masters. It's literally it's like everything combined together in my own little style. Especially like, I like how it's got a little MetaZoo feel to it with the limits in the deck, the little artifact light point stuff. Yeah, 22K. That's a lot. It is a lot, but at the same time, it's not going to be like the easiest thing to do, because I've practiced it through testing and stuff. And and you can level down, and you can negate the ugh, the oh, actually, I guess you can't. You can negate them playing a shield or a sword, stuff like that. Which there's only 2 negates in the deck, so you do have to like be kind of careful. It's very like resource management. Like you're attaching stuff as energy and stuff like that, and more of these things will be able to be shown once I actually have gameplay. I'm gonna have gameplay on here um, for yeah. Well, you'll be playing, Alex. You'll be playing. So yeah, there's the board wipe. It's like a semi board wipe. You can't kill your main guy because it's always going to be there on the board. You're always going to have your guy. And eventually there'll probably be more like cards that are going to be like hand traps that you can play from your hand like as blockers and stuff like that. So this right here is a full deck though. These are all the monsters right here. The basically the field spell extra deck. These are all the spells, including equips right here. One of spells and draws, and then there's only 4 traps currently, but there's more. I already have designed for more. But yeah, no, I'm not afraid of having there be like board wipes and stuff because it's still not like you can just win right away. And this thing being a board wipe, it's like once per turn. So like if you use it and they don't even have anything, like you don't even board wipe, so you need to like save it. And then it also will be so for example, here let's go into a little bit, or we'll show some art real quick of this stuff. So this is the extra deck wind one that can attack twice. All the numbers and everything are going to be exactly the same, so it'll be balanced. This is the shield one that has a higher defense, and there's a misprint right there. Apparently it didn't get its attack number printed on there. That could be my fault. This is the primal version of the pterodactyl one. That gets the power increase for the attack each time it attacks, and kind of does that board wipe thing I was just talking about, that we're talking about. The deck limit is it's 40 cards exactly. So you only can play 40 cards. Yeah, the border, it had to be thick like that. That's one of the things that I was talking with the people that printed the card, and that's how I messed up. Like you can actually see it on this card right here. See how there's that like white line right there? Um, that's one of the things that I had to work on for the next one is actually the border. The border ended up coming out like that because I thought it was like a certain size that I needed to make it, and it turned out that that size was a little bit smaller, so I ended up having to blow the picture up compared to like how it actually was. Yeah, this one right here was the attempt to try and because I was thinking that this might be a possibility right here, like that happening. So what I did was it has the border, but I made the background of it black. So that way if it was gonna like fade through and cut smaller than the actual border, it would still be black. And what ended up happening with this one is that it just made the border super fat. So, but it is like a trial and error kind of thing, just to make sure I can get the cards designed properly. and stuff. So those were test things, kind of like how it's wind, water, and stuff like that. They're all test things for me to test out. This is the starter here for the wind one. What is 1 or 2 is fine. I don't know. I think if if fast, I think 1 or 2 is fine. I don't know. Yeah, there'll be more gameplay, and then we can like do more questions and stuff. But yeah, feel free to ask any questions. But that one, I don't know. If fast, I think 1 or 2 is fine. I think it depends on how fast the player can summon. So this each turn you can evolve once per turn, right? So say like here, let's go over the art. One sec. Let's go over the art, and then I'll go through what kind of like your turn will look like. So here's the Dactyl boy here, and that's the level 1. You only have one monster on the board the whole time, and all you're doing. So the idea of it is like if you can imagine like how the Mega Man Nexus anime was. Like you just have one guy. This is the level 2. And you're just using your cards to power up your guy to make it stronger to be able to beat um, the other person's like Nexus, Natobot, whatever they're called. They're I can't remember what they're called. But basically, like how there's like a Mega Man, like Mega Man and Shark Man were to sit down and battle. You're powering them up. Oh, net navies. Thank you. Yeah. So like they're net navi deal, and you're like battling, and you're using chips to power them up. Instead, you're using cards, and then at the same time, they're able to level up something like Digimon, Pokemon, Vanguard into another level, and then you're also using cards to help equip them in battle to be able to make them stronger and beat your opponent. So this is the level 3 here, and all the attacks and everything are going to be all the same. Here's the level 4. I really like this guy. Tornado Dactyl. Well, let's see if we can actually get him a little bit more focused. Yeah, there we go. Tornado Dactyl. Which, yeah, he's going to be nice once he gets actually his detail and stuff. But yeah, so that's those cards. Those are the artworks there for the Wind Dactyl Boy. And the extra deck, which both decks are equally balanced. Okay, so what the board will kind of look like here is, here's your extra deck. I guess we'll just do a few cards here just to symbolize that. Well, actually, I want to keep these to explain stuff, because alright. So, and you can put these 6 cards anywhere if you want. You can put them in front of you like this and have it up like that, and then you can put your back row right here, which would consist of where are they? Like shields, swords, and eventually there'll be cards that are called battle traps, but we don't have any yet, and then you can set those. And then that would also, like, you could set it, like, you can set anything at the same time, just like you can in Yu-Gi-Oh! And try to bait them out to get them to try to use something to destroy it and stuff, and then you can kind of go and like use a switch and then bait him to do that and stuff like that. So like you'll be able to play mind games with your opponent based on just, you know, setting cards and playing cards. So what a first turn would look like, which I could shuffle. I just don't have them in sleeves yet. I'll have to get sleeves before we get some games in. But for example, you get to go, you play it, right? So you get your shields, your life barriers up. I'm going to just put them over here, for example. Alright, and then you draw 7 cards. You can level up your stadiums, or your dimensional vortexes can go over here to the side, but you both share it. It's going to create the dimension for the whole board. But your first turn, one of the better plays, like, right, you level up, you can attach energy, and then you can play the card level up, which would shoot you all the way to a level 2 already on your first turn. And you can evolve right away. You don't have to like wait a turn or anything. As soon as you level up, you just you level up and you go. And then cards will go to the trash, and then, you know, going on to your following turn, you can do something like attach another energy. You can't quite search and dive yet now because you're at level 2, but you could still just manually level up. But I would recommend you, because you can search out the guys with the 1 and the 2, but the 3 is just straight vanilla. Like, it doesn't do the searching. So the 4 is the hardest one to go into. So you can play the 3s from your hand as energy and then search the 1 out from deck, but you also have to be careful, because then if you're missing a 3, then you can't go into a 4 until, like, eventually there'll be cards where you can, like, skip a level. Because this is almost like, if you're familiar with, like, Yu-Gi-Oh!, it's got, like, a feeling of, like, Raid Raptors almost. So, like, eventually there'll be, like, certain cards that will make it like that. You get to skip a level or 2 by paying, like, a certain amount of cost and stuff like that. Or certain requirements. So, but each turn you'll be able to attach an energy and you'll be able to level up. And you'll also be able to play an equipment each turn. And then, you only can play 1 of your dimensional vortexes a turn also. Just to get that out of the way, because there should be eventually combinations of, like, stuff that helps you get stuff, and then there's going to be, at one point, there'll be cards that will be dimensional vortexes where you actually get to put your cards under it as energy, under the dimensional vortex, to be able to use those and remove them to be able to use other effects and stuff like that. Let's see. Yeah, so here we go. So this is one of the things. So we'll go. We can just leave it like that. Where's Primal Instinct? Primal Instinct. Okay. So each deck has, this is the max of the cards that they have. 1 Primal Instinct, 2 negates, 2 switches, currently, right? So you can go Primal Instinct, and then you'll upgrade, right? You'll try to. They can go negate, right? And then you can negate your negate. But then you would be like, oh, they only have 1 more negate to negate it. But then they can switch your negate, right? They can be like, I'm going to switch your negate to negate your Primal Instinct. And then you can switch their switch to switch it back into negating the negate and stuff like that. So it will make, like, a huge stack of, like, what is going on, and then you'll have to, like, play it from there. So that's where it's just going to be players, like, slamming down cards, basically trying to gain control of the situation, and then that's where you can kind of get into the heat of the moment, basically, and misplay. So, and basically, when there are like higher level tournaments, at some point, like I want it to be like timed, where it's like chess, like you have a certain amount of time to do each turn, making it so that you have to play faster and stuff like that. So, and then yeah, these are just optional to go into. You don't have to go into these. They're kind of more situational uh, when it calls for it, except for the Primal Instinct one. Uh, that one will be like kind of like a finisher, but at the same time, that's why you might want to hold a negate just to be able to do that. So, like, for example, like you can negate their negate, but like if you have negate and switch, then you pretty much have two negates when if they have negate, and if they don't have negate, then you can just play your negate and then you still have your switch. Stuff like that, but it's still like we'll be playtesting it, and then hopefully more people want to get involved and play, and I can get it on Tabletop Simulator, and then the rulings and stuff like that can grow from there, based on like if shit is, excuse me, if shit's broken or not. But currently it's like been pretty good. It seems pretty fair. Like no one just automatically wins because they attacked first or something. Like there's never like a point where you win just because. Like it's like a point of like you fucked up X, Y, and Z. So because of those, like it resulted into you losing. You know, you always have the chance to come back. So, but yeah. So I'll be trying to get some gameplay tomorrow. But I actually have to work at 6 o'clock. So I'm going to call it a night. And I'll be doing more stuff on this very soon. I kind of covered quite a bit, honestly. The more I would want to cover is like gameplay, like interactions with stuff going on in gameplay, just to make sure everyone understands. On Plusmaster23 on Instagram, I had the Discord link up in the bio, which the Discord is under construction, so there's like a rules to play kind of thing, and that's not really meant for like writing for other people to write, but in any of the other like sections of the Pocket Dimensions, you're going to be able to ask questions, come up with deck theories or card ideas of what you eventually want made, like personally or just for the game and stuff like that. But the main construction of it is like I'm just trying to find the time to be able to write all the rules down in that section, so it's not really a place for the community to just write stuff. But if you want to join Pocket Dimensions Discord, it'll be in the link. There'll be a link in my bio for Plusmaster23 on Instagram, and you can just join there and ask me whatever you want, and I'll try to get stuff shared, especially since all the cards, not all the cards, but all the cards that are going to be in the starter decks have been revealed finally now. So I'm going to be basically working on getting the finalized cards done and getting gameplay done so people actually want to play and stuff. And also another thing to add onto this, you get a mulligan, right? But it's like it's a partial mulligan, but in the sense you can have your partial mulligan be a full mulligan. Like once you draw 7, say you don't like any of those cards, you can just put them at the bottom, draw 7 more off the top. But say that you like 3 of them, but you don't like 4 of them, then you put those 4 that you don't like, put them at the bottom, draw 4 more cards. And then the deck is shuffled, and then you do your shields. So, or your life barrier. So yeah, that that is the rundown of it. Uh, and then yeah, just if you guys want to just follow, keep up with the pocket dimensions, they'll actually be early next year a point where you can actually purchase some cards. Right now, these are just sample cards to be able to show off the gameplay and stuff like that. So, take care, peace out. I gotta get some sleep.